Ryuto dreams of admiring Shirakawa from afar. However, he realizes that dating isn't possible. Upon waking up, he receives a message from Shirakawa with a selfie. Ryuto's body is filled with love and happiness. He wishes to be with Shirakawa forever and renews his love for her every day. It's the first summer since Ryuto started dating Shirakawa, but she seems anxious about upcoming tests. Despite the hot weather, Shirakawa is walking with a cloudy expression. She crumples her head and despairs about the tests, while Ryuto tries to offer words of encouragement. Shirakawa thinks his scores from the previous English grammar test are impressive, while she admits to struggling with biology. Ryuto suggests they study together a day before taking the test, and Shirakawa agrees. However, once she starts studying with Ryuto, it becomes clear that she's not understanding the material. Ryuto explains the meaning behind the phrase, "He is the last man to tell a lie," and Shirakawa smiles at him, saying he's an honest person. They move to sit next to each other, making it easier for study and reading. Ryuto and Shirakawa study together at a crowded fast food restaurant before their tests. Ryuto is nervous around Shirakawa, noticing her hair and scent. He is distracted by the couples sitting nearby and wonders if there is an unspoken rule about women sitting on the wall side. Despite this, he manages to finish their explanation of English grammar. Shirakawa offers to get burgers, and they return to their seat after eating. Ryuto then asks Shirakawa about her previous boyfriends, and she reveals that none of them ever helped her study. Ryuto is angered by her ex-boyfriend's lack of consideration for her. Shirakawa declares that Ryuto is the first person to ever want to do something for her, and they continue studying for their upcoming test together. While looking at his test score, Ryuto hears Kurose ask for his help studying. He declines, since he has already made plans with Shirakawa. Kurose asks for his line ID instead, and Ryuto agrees. Later, Shirakawa reminds Ryuto that tomorrow marks their 1-month anniversary and suggests they celebrate at the beach. Ryuto eagerly agrees, envisioning Shirakawa in a bikini. Someone wonders who Kashima Ryuto thinks he is after the way he acted towards them when they asked for his contact information. Despite their frustration, they can't stop thinking about Kashima, who is one of the only men aside from their dad to face them properly. They think Kashima resembles their dad, who only had eyes for their mom. They believe that Kashima is being deceived by Runa, who looks a lot like their mom, and they hope Kashima will notice soon because their heart already belongs to him. The next day, Ryuto and Shirakawa went to Enoshima on Shirakawa's suggestion. Shirakawa wore a tropical plant-style print top with denim shorts and a wide-brimmed straw hat. When they arrived at the beach, Ryuto was nervous seeing the gals and older guys walking around. But he was even more nervous when Shirakawa surprised him by covering his eyes with her hands. When Ryuto turned around, he saw Shirakawa in a flower-patterned bikini, which enhanced her body. They spent the day at the beach, and Shirakawa asked Ryuto to put sunscreen on her. At the beach, Shirakawa asks Ryuto to put sunscreen on her back. He nervously obliges, feeling the warmth of her skin and trying to hide his feelings. Shirakawa laughs when he tickles her, and they continue to play in the water. They take a break to eat yakisoba, and Shirakawa mentions the good weather being thanks to her daily conduct. Ryuto finally tells her that her swimsuit looks good on her. Shirakawa gets flustered and emotional. Shirakawa showed Ryuto her nails with the letter L for Luna, and told him about getting them lengthened for summer vacation. Ryuto told her that she can be a little selfish, and he won't fault her for it. Shirakawa asked Ryuto to get her a bottle of Ramune, but Ryuto went to get it for her anyways. They then climbed up the hill to the Enoshima Island lighthouse and went into a restaurant for raw whitebait. The restaurant employee apologized for not having raw whitebait due to stormy weather. Ryuto and Shirakawa ordered 2 colored rice bowls and noticed it was raining outside. They sought shelter and made their way to the train station, only to discover the train was suspended due to flooding. They decided to call their parents and find a place to stay. They found an inn, and Shirakawa suggested they take turns using the public bath. Ryuto fantasized about sleeping with Shirakawa, but became confused about her intentions. In the end, he took a shower and shampooed his hair multiple times. Shirakawa and Ryuto are staying at an inn during a typhoon. They drink tea and watch TV, and later prepare to sleep. Shirakawa apologizes for suggesting they share a room earlier, as she was exhausted and soaked from the rain. She then asks if Ryuto wants to have sex, which he agrees to after confirming her desires. Shirakawa admits that she is liking him more every day, even wanting to touch him and hold hands during a previous boat trip. Shirakawa expresses feeling excited about Ryuto and wanting to have sex with him. However, Ryuto becomes upset and decides to suggest they go to sleep. Shirakawa asks why Ryuto is so kind, and he admits to loving her. Shirakawa becomes emotional and asks for a hug, which leads to them holding hands and sleeping together. The two joke about spending their next anniversary together. Ryuto feels regret about this moment in the future. Maria realizes Kashima is interested in Runa and thinks it's because of her body. She contemplates becoming like Runa to get Kashima's attention, but questions if he's the kind of person she really wants to pursue. Despite this, she can't help feeling strongly towards him and imagines being scolded by him. She wants to be embraced by him and schemes to put him in her trap. She believes he'll cherish her once he's in a relationship with her. Maria wonders what Kashima is doing during the stormy night and wants to do bad things with him. The typhoon dissipated, but Ryuto couldn't sleep thinking about Shirakawa. They had breakfast at the inn and returned home a day late. On the empty train ride back, they talked and said goodbye at Shirakawa's house. Ryuto ran into Shirakawa's best friend, Yamana, who invited him to her izakaya. Ryuto called his friends, Ichi and Nishi, to join him. They entered the lively izakaya and were greeted by Yamana's warm welcome. Ryuto received a soda, while Nishi and Ichi were left staring with heart eyes. They ordered from the touch panel and waited for their meal. While Ryuto ordered a cola at the touch panel, his friends Ichi and Nishi drank Kapi's soda in their mugs. They praised Yamana, and when Ryuto tried to sip their drinks, they guarded their mugs. Eventually, they fell asleep after drinking the drinks given to them by Yamana. Ryuto was surprised by the taste and realized ethanol was mixed up in the drinks. Yamana later joined Ryuto and talked about Runa, expressing how she wanted Runa to find a meaningful relationship. Yamana explained that having mutual love with someone meant sharing emotional burdens equally. Runa's previous boyfriends were all bad, and Yamana hoped they would die. Yamana explains Runa's relationship troubles, including the 2-month wall jinx. She then makes Ryuto promise not to do anything to make Runa worry, to which he agrees. Yamana takes care of their drunk friends, while Ryuto heads home and receives a call from Shirakawa, asking to meet alone at school. He agrees and heads to the gym storage room, where Shirakawa embraces him and whispers in his ear. She suddenly admitted that she wanted to have sex with Ryuto, shocking him. Despite his doubts about her sudden change of feelings, he couldn't help feeling aroused and hugged her. However, he became increasingly uncomfortable when he realized that something was off about Shirakawa's body and scent. He then discovered that it was actually Kurose who had been pretending to be Shirakawa all along. When he tried to leave, Kurose revealed that she wouldn't tell anyone if they had sex, causing Ryuto to feel conflicted and worried about hurting Shirakawa. As Kurose embraces Ryuto, he feels conflicted about his love for Shirakawa. Kurose offers to keep their physical relationship a secret, pretending to be Runa, and Ryuto gives in to his desires. However, he soon realizes Kurose's true motivations and ends things between them. Later, Ryuto decides to speak with Kurose in person to clarify his feelings. The next day, he checks in on his friends and hears a loud noise on the phone while speaking with Ichi. Someone is crying in front of Ryuto. He meets up with Kurose and tells her he only thinks of her as a friend. She starts to cry and asks to stay with him for a bit. They hug, but Ryuto can't hug back. Two friends, Nikoru and Runa, chat about their past relationships. They talk about Runa's fear of being cheated on and her belief that Ryuto, whom she trusts, won't cheat. They also discuss the pressure that society puts on women to endure their partner's infidelity. Runa admits to being scared that Ryuto might cheat on her, but hopes that time will prove her fears unfounded. On the final day of the school term, Ryuto notices his classmates whispering about him. His friend Ichi confronts him about rumors of Ryuto cheating on his girlfriend. Ryuto denies it, but he had been meeting with Kurose in private. Despite denying the rumors, Ryuto's girlfriend Shirakawa discovers a photo of him and Kurose hugging on her phone. Before Ryuto can explain, Yamana slaps him and runs after Shirakawa. Ryuto is left wondering what he could have done differently as the rumors spread throughout the school. The photo caused a huge impact. Without knowing their relationship, anyone would assume Ryuto was cheating. He felt guilty knowing Shirakawa was probably hurt, so he tried to clear up the misunderstanding. Ryuto didn't tell Shirakawa he confessed to Kurose in middle school, but he never meant to keep it a secret. He just didn't want to worry her unnecessarily. This mistake resulted in Shirakawa believing there were more secrets, causing Ryuto to want to talk to her. However, Shirakawa never came back after the misunderstanding. Ryuto attended a summer short course at a prep school, but he wasn't able to focus due to worrying about Shirakawa. He waited for her to return or respond, even going to her home, but there was no sign of her. On the last day of the course, Ryuto received a message from Ichi telling him that Shirakawa was cheating on him with a man at a beach in Chiba. Ryuto left the course, called Ichi, and decided to go to the beach to find Shirakawa. After arriving at the beach, Ryuto receives a message from a line group and learns that Shirakawa is at a beach house called Luna Marine. As he approaches the location, he sees Shirakawa come out with Mao, her true boyfriend. Ryuto feels heartbroken and accepts the reality of not being able to be with Shirakawa. Mao approaches Ryuto and introduces himself as a travel writer and Shirakawa's uncle, surprising Ryuto. Ryuto meets Shirakawa's uncle and Yamana at the beach house, but Yamana becomes hostile towards him. Shirakawa defends Ryuto, saying that he may be innocent. They discuss Kurose confessing to Ryuto and the misunderstanding it caused, but Shirakawa forgives him. She reveals that her phone was broken and couldn't reply to him, but now feels ready to face reality and wants to keep dating Ryuto. Ryuto tells her that his friend Ichi saw her at the beach. Shirakawa complains about her sunburn to Ryuto, who learns that she is staying at her great-grandma's house for the summer. She explains that she is helping her uncle at the beach house and reveals that her high school goal of finding mutual love has been fulfilled with Ryuto. They express their desire to be together, and Shirakawa shares her dream of creating her own family. Ryuto feels motivated to study for his exams, and Shirakawa suggests that she may also attend higher school. Ryuto is delighted when Shirakawa expresses her jealousy, and they share a romantic moment. After a long day, Ryuto and Shirakawa were at a house up in the mountains to visit her great-grandmother. Mao, Shirakawa's uncle, was also there. They chatted over tea and peanuts, while Mao shared stories about his travels. Ryuto checked the time and realized he had to leave soon. However, Shirakawa's great-grandmother offered for him to stay overnight to avoid being out too late. Shirakawa was delighted by the idea, but Ryuto was unsure. Shirakawa invited Ryuto to stay at her great-grandmother's house until Runa returns, even offering to go to the summer festival together. Mao teased them about the food expenses, but Sayo assured them it was cost-free in their town and implied Nico couldn't visit often. Shirakawa pleaded for Ryuto to stay, and he eventually agreed after calling his parents. Thus, Ryuto ended up staying at their house for 2 weeks. Maria had always received confessions from various guys since elementary school, but never gave in to any of them because she knew her own worth as a woman and wanted her first time to be with a flawless man who deserved her. However, when she fell in love with Kashima, she was rejected and felt depressed. But looking back, she realizes that Kashima didn't use her to satisfy his own lust. He could have gone all the way with her, and even continued the relationship, but he didn't. Kashima endured it all for Maria's sake, and even expressed sympathy for Kurose. Maria hopes to one day meet another man whom she can love as much as Kashima. She tells herself that it was a good first love, but she's still in pain. The morning after, Shirakawa woke Ryuto up for breakfast before they left to help out at Mao's beach house. There, Shirakawa handled customers, while Ryuto worked at his leisure. When Mao left to stock up, 2 playboy men harassed Shirakawa, but Ryuto came to her defense and she told them he was her boyfriend, making them leave in surprise. After being turned down by Shirakawa, the men left. Ryuto checked on her, and she explained that the men were customers who had been coming often since last week. Shirakawa mentioned that her ex-boyfriends and Mao were similar to those types of guys, which made her uncomfortable when talking to Ryuto. He asked if she liked that type of person, but she quickly replied that she did not have a type and that love is about communication. Shirakawa then admitted that Ryuto might be her type and declared her love for him. Ryuto told her that Runa was his type, and Shirakawa blushed but was happy that they were each other's type. Later, Shirakawa excitedly prepared dinner and realized that they had no potatoes for her meat stew, which made her cry a little. Shirakawa wanted to surprise Ryuto by making meat and potato stew, but he found out. They go to the nearby Ishida store to buy potatoes and cola. They talk about what to cook for the next day and settle on curry. They walk home holding hands, feeling like a married couple, and Shirakawa remarks on how wonderful dating is. Upon returning to Sayo's house, Shirakawa begins to make the stew with Ryuto's help. Ryuto and Shirakawa spend their summer vacation cooking and enjoying each other's company at Sayo's house. They eat a delicious meal of meat and potato stew and enjoy jellies that Ryuto's parents sent over. Shirakawa feeds Ryuto jelly and comments on his cute teeth, making him happy. They fantasize about serving the jellies at Luna Marine and plan to ask Mao about it. Shirakawa's mother planned to visit, but Ryuto was nervous about meeting her. Shirakawa explained how their beach house got its name and talked about her sister Maria, whom she loved deeply despite their differences. Shirakawa asked Ryuto how he controlled his feelings towards her ex-boyfriends, and he explained that he needed more time for their bond to deepen. Shirakawa then asked Ryuto to be friends with Maria since she wanted to get closer to her, but thought it would be difficult to do it openly. Ryuto was surprised by the strategy, but understood Shirakawa's genuine feelings towards her sister. On another day, Mao gave Shirakawa a bag of fireworks and a new phone. Shirakawa retrieves her phone that was just repaired and shows it off to Ryuto. They proceed to light up some fireworks, and Shirakawa comments on the shapes that some of them make. Then, Ryuto confesses to Shirakawa that his initial confession was actually part of a punishment game, and Shirakawa commends him for being brave enough to do it, even though he didn't think she would accept him. She tells him that he has a kind and caring heart, and Ryuto reaches out to embrace her, but holds back when he realizes Sayo and Mao are watching. They both express disappointment that they've used up their fireworks and decide to go inside. The protagonist went to the toilet in the middle of the night and saw that the door between the porch and living room was partially open. Approaching it, he found Shirakawa sitting outside. She was upset because her mother couldn't come to visit due to work, and the protagonist listened as she explained her family history. He took her hand, but decided against confessing his feelings, and they said goodnight. The protagonist was worried about not being able to kiss her again, but couldn't make a move with Sayo and Mao present. The summer festival was coming up. On the last day of working at the beach house, Shirakawa left to get dressed for the summer festival. Mao gave Ryuto an envelope of earnings for his part-time work, which surprised him. Mao thanked Ryuto for his help, and Ryuto was charmed by his sincerity. Ryuto went to the summer festival and found a stand that caught his attention. Later on, Ryuto met with Shirakawa, who looked adorable in yukata, and they walked down to the beach. They stopped at different food stands, and Ryuto used his earnings to buy Shirakawa a bubble drink and candied apple. Shirakawa shares with Ryuto about how much she admires her parents' relationship and how she has dreamed of marrying the first person she has ever dated. However, she breaks down in tears, lamenting the fact that she cannot give Ryuto any of her first experiences. Ryuto reassures her that all their experiences together hold special meaning because of their feelings for each other. They encounter an accessory shop on the street, and Shirakawa is interested in the moonstone, which is her birthstone. Shirakawa and a lady discuss stone accessories at a shop. The lady realizes the main character, Ryuto, has already bought a moonstone ring earlier. As they walk to a shrine, Ryuto hopes for a future with Shirakawa. At the shrine, Ryuto and Shirakawa make wishes. Ryuto gives Shirakawa the moonstone ring, and they watch fireworks at a secret spot. Shirakawa leans into Ryuto, and they intertwine arms. The protagonist nods nervously when asked if they can stay close until the end of the fireworks. They hear Shirakawa laugh and talk about how being close to someone you love is natural. Shirakawa confesses her love for the protagonist and says she wants to have sex with them. The protagonist tells Shirakawa that they love her too, and they kiss as the fireworks go off in the background. The protagonist feels the warmth of their girlfriend, and it is everything in their world. Nikoru greets Runa and asks if Ryuto has reformed, to which Runa assures there is nothing to worry about. Nikoru brings up Ryuto meeting Runa's younger sister behind her back, but Runa explains it was just a bad timing. She shares her past insecurities with ex-boyfriends, but now feels stronger with Ryuto. They talked about their families, past relationships, and feelings towards each other. Runa wears a milky white ring on her left hand as a symbol of their connection. In the last week of August, Runa and Ryuto were struggling to finish their English homework. They were having daily study meetings due to their strained relationship. Although Ryuto enjoyed his time in Chiba, he couldn't escape the reality of an important summer dedicated to studying. Runa, on the other hand, had already imagined their future summer. Despite their homework woes, Runa kissed Ryuto on the cheek and professed her love for him.